The yellowed blueprint is the earliest subway route map of Beijing. It was completed in 1956 under the guidance of Soviet experts. Over 60 years ago, many Chinese engineers and technicians received guidance from Soviet experts to build the subway. Some even traveled to the Soviet Union to study subway engineering. Today, a new generation of Chinese subway technical teams is heading to Moscow. But this time, they are entering the design and construction of the Moscow subway. In the past 60 years, China's subway construction has boomed. China now leads the world in design, construction, and equipment. In many places around the world, Chinese-made urban rail systems stand out with unique charm. Kim Kyung-jin, a South Korean software engineer, has lived in Beijing for over 10 years. The subway is his main choice of transportation. As a foreigner, he has also witnessed the rapid development of the Beijing subway.
The Beijing subway is much more convenient than before. South Korea's subways are also quite good. I especially like Daegu's monorail. It's quiet and has great views.
The Daegu monorail Kim Kyung-jin mentioned looks very similar to the Chongqing monorail. But he doesn't know that 9 years ago, Chongqing Rail Transit signed its first international contract to help build Daegu's light rail. This light rail line stretches over 20 kilometers and appears to use the same tracks and technical standards as Chongqing's light rail. But the method of building piers and beams in parallel is a unique Chinese innovation. To meet high-precision requirements, similar international projects have long used the method of constructing piers before beams, which lengthens the construction period. Building piers and beams simultaneously greatly shortens the construction period for straddle-type monorails. Monorail beams are different from railway tracks, which are made to a single standard and laid out on one plane. Monorail beams must bear loads and guide the vehicle. Each beam must be custom designed and manufactured for the route, guiding the vehicles through curves and slopes.
These beams are technically complex. To put it simply, it's like manufacturing reinforced concrete structures with machining precision.
China exported its beam technology to South Korea to provide critical support for the construction of straddle-type monorail trains in Korea. If a single technology being recognized abroad is just a small step, then winning the bid for a segment of the Thomson East Coastline in Singapore was a major milestone for Chinese rail transit construction in the international market.
This project marked our first win as the primary contractor for a major project in Singapore.
The project starts at Thomson in Singapore and ends at the East Coast Line. This segment features one equipment room and 2 tunnel sections. Technically, the Singapore Metro project is not particularly different from similar projects in China. However, the construction period of this segment is 6 years and 8 months, more than double the time for similar projects in China. Why is the construction period so long?
Its standards are among the highest globally, especially in construction design, safety management, and environmental protection. For example, after treatment, the construction site's wastewater is crystal clear. with suspended solids, below 50 milligrams per liter.
This segment is located in the East Coast Park. So the 851 trees in the construction area had to be carefully handled. Before construction began,
It's situated in gardens by the Bay East, which is part of the national park, the East Coast Park. Senior leaders in Singapore, such as Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong, have visited here 1 or 2 times. Sometimes, during his exercise routines, he comes here.
in Singapore, construction must follow a case-by-case discussion principle. And you must be familiar with all the procedures. First, these 851 trees had to be evaluated by botanists, who then issued a tree assessment report. Based on the species, age, and related data of each tree, they determined whether to transplant or remove them. Before construction could begin, the construction plan had to be approved by the owner's safety department. Facing the strict management standards of Singapore's high-end construction market, the Chinese project team focused on top-level design from the very beginning to ensure all work followed Singapore's regulations. Once all the trees were properly handled, the massive tunnel boring machine, TBM, began its journey through the underground. This pioneering TBM was specially customized by CRECG for the Singapore project. Surprisingly, such a massive machine was developed under the leadership of a female engineer.
No one believed that the Chinese could produce such a massive machine. No one was willing to invest in its production. At that time, the initial fund for our prototype was 40 million yuan.
Back then, the funding for TBM development was only 40 million yuan, which was a tiny amount. It was like a drop in the ocean. But the research team of CREC was bold enough to take on the challenge and maximize fund utilization. After 8 years, finally, in 2008, they designed and built the first compound TBM with independent intellectual property rights. From then on, China broke the foreign monopoly on TBMs in tunnel engineering.
Over the years, we've produced so many types of equipment, and we've successfully applied each new product.
Shenzhou in the sky, Jiaolong submersible in the ocean, and TBMs underground. This well-known saying in the infrastructure field highlights the critical role of TBMs in tunnel construction. Once the TBM technology was mastered and independently developed, Chinese subway construction took a giant leap forward. It also brought core competitiveness to Chinese equipment manufacturing companies. In China, the successful design and development of China's first compound TBM with independent intellectual property rights greatly boosted the confidence of the TBM manufacturing industry. Currently, a large number of innovative and significant new products have been designed and manufactured. With the honor of Made in China, they accomplish numerous complex tunnel projects. Weekends are a rare opportunity for Chinese workers, Hu Yangliang and Li Kai, to spend time with their families. They visit a place known as Singapore's Chinatown, called Nyoche Shui. It's named after Chinese laborers who once used ox carts to carry fresh water to labor camps. Today, it's a bustling gathering spot for the Chinese community in Singapore. The home of urban rail constructors is never settled. Wherever the site is, their home is there too. Home is their warm harbor. In a foreign land, the joyful laughter of their wives and children eases their fatigue. Their family brings them happiness. And their motherland gives them strength. In neighboring Malaysia, separated from Singapore by just a strait, the Chinese urban rail construction team has earned a good reputation. The new MRT system in Kuala Lumpur, built by this team, is welcomed by the public as the most convenient public transportation option. This MRT line can take passengers to 10 major shopping malls in Kuala Lumpur.
This MRT system is very convenient, easy to get tickets, and has a comfortable indoor temperature. Whether it's Chinese or people from other countries, everyone finds it very convenient.
Part of Kuala Lumpur's MRT Phase 1 project were handled entirely by Chinese companies, from design and construction to handover, all in compliance with British standards.
Phase 1 started in May 2012. And after over 5 years of construction, it officially began commercial operations in July 2017. Phase 2 began in June 2016.
The successful completion of Phase 1 earned Malaysia's admiration for Chinese companies. In the subsequent Phase 2 project, the volume of work awarded to the Chinese team almost doubled compared to Phase 1. In urban rail construction, China has been more familiar with the world. And the world has increasingly recognized China. Moonay La, a girl from Sudan, studied at the CUFE for 5 years. Now she works at the Kuala Lumpur MRT project department. Every time she rides the Chinese-built subway, she feels proud.
When I first came here, I felt that there was no proper subway in Malaysia. Just a small subway that wasn't very convenient. The buses weren't convenient either. From the time I got here until the MRT project was completed, we started using the MRT. It's very convenient, just like the subway in China. It's very convenient, fast, and comfortable. The speed is also good. Many people ask me what my company does. I say, you know the MRT? We built it. It makes me feel so proud.
The pace of Chinese urban rail, going global, is accelerating. In Hanoi, Vietnam, a 1,000-year-old city, every day, countless motorbikes crowd the roads. The rapid pace of urbanization has increased traffic pressure in this ancient city of nearly 8 million people. The endless stream of motorbikes and their exhaust make life terrible for the local residents.
Hanoi is a large city with a high population density and vehicle congestion, without high-capacity public transportation. Congestion in Hanoi is hard to solve.
On September 20, 2018, the opening of the Cat Lin line changed everything. The Cat Lin Herdong line is Vietnam's first light rail, a major transportation project constructed by Chinese companies. It uses Chinese equipment and Chinese standards. It's also a model project for China's Belt and Road Initiative, aligning with Vietnam's 2 corridors, 1 belt development plan. As the Belt and Road Initiative advances, Chinese urban rail construction is steadily expanding globally. Wherever it reaches, it boosts the local economy and opens a window for local people to learn about China. Under the Belt and Road Initiative, Pakistan's first urban rail transit project, the Lahore Orange Line, was successfully completed. This is the first signed infrastructure project in the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. It symbolizes the all-weather friendship and is a model of urban rail cooperation between China and Pakistan.
This project is located in Pakistan's second largest city, Lahore. It's the capital of Punjab province. It is classified as light rail in China. This line currently adopts Chinese standards and specifications.
So it is a very good project, and it was a dire need of the Lahore city, because the city has become very congested. The condition of roads has increased, and people have to wait for much time on the roads to get from one place to another. So I think that the Orange Line will meet the demands of the people and to go easily and steadily from one place to another.
Chinese urban rail construction is accelerating the connection with the world. Along with Chinese urban rail going global, there are also Chinese vehicles. CRRC Changchun Railway Vehicles is the cradle of Chinese urban rail transit. After more than 50 years of development, it has been the largest research, manufacturing, and export base for passenger trains and urban rail vehicles in China. Chinese urban rail construction companies are not only entering high-end international markets, but are also establishing a strong presence. Chinese products have moved beyond the era of low prices. They now compete on technology and quality.
As Chinese products go global, our products now meet international standards. In terms of standards, there should be no difference between our products and those from abroad. We can meet all their standards.
The Boston Red Line and Orange Line subway vehicle projects have proven China's excellent design capabilities. On the current Boston subway line, there is a century-old bridge. After evaluation, it was determined that this landmark bridge, which has witnessed Boston's growth, has limited load-bearing capacity. Therefore, vehicle weight became the most critical technical parameter in the bidding process. Several international rail vehicle manufacturers were rejected because they could not reduce the vehicle weight sufficiently. After extensive research and trials, CRRC Changchun Railway Vehicles implemented over 80 weight reduction measures in planning, structural design, material selection, space optimization, etc., ultimately reducing the weight by 1.8 tons. They managed to keep the vehicle weight at around 33 tons, and then won the bid. When Jerry Palkeri, Chief Procurement Officer of the Massachusetts Bay Transportation Authority, rode the subway built by CRRC Changchun, he expressed sincere admiration.
This car is awesome. I've never seen anything like this. It's like stepping into a whole new world. In American terms, we'd say, wow.
Today, over 9,000 vehicles built by CRRC Changchun operate daily in over 20 countries worldwide. They have been a new force in the global urban rail network. Africa, a land both mysterious and rich. Half a century ago, a railway began the friendship between China, Tanzania, and Zambia. The Tanzania-Zambia Railway carried the aspirations of the African people for a better life. After half a century of trials and challenges, the Tanzania-Zambia Railway has fulfilled its historical mission. The new chapter of friendship between China and Africa is now being written with modern urban rail systems, Addis Ababa, as the headquarters of the African Union, is the political center of Africa. In recent years, the economy of this city has developed rapidly. Along with economic growth, the pressure on urban transportation has also increased. Against this backdrop, Africa's first light rail line was born. This urban rail line is the first modern light rail system on the African continent, constructed by the Chinese team. This is a group of African subway employees currently receiving training in China. They will manage and operate Addis Ababa's urban light rail.
Because of the transportation problem, people are concentrated at the downtown of Addis Ababa. Nowadays, because of Addis Ababa light rail is coming, people are expanding to the periphery. Just a small city like Bishoftu, Adama, Mojo, at all periphery of the Addis Ababa, people are expanding, migrating from the central Addis Ababa to the periphery because of the availability of easily getting transport.
Today, the first urban rail line in Africa is shining brightly in Ethiopia and driving the modernization of this ancient nation.
We hope to bring advanced technologies to them. We hope to help Ethiopia develop and improve more quickly after the construction of the light rail line. The overall mobility rate has greatly improved. The city's appearance has also greatly improved.
What China offers to the world is not just a railway or a vehicle. It also includes Chinese quality, technology, and standards. Hailemariam, former Ethiopian PM, quoted a Chinese saying, "Give a man a fish, and you feed him for a day. Teach him to fish, and you feed him for a lifetime." To describe China's assistance to Africa.
In the first year, we had over 400 Chinese employees, and 700 to 800 locals. Altogether, there were over 1,000 people, including the Chinese team. After 3 years of continuous training, they recruited and trained staff, while managing turnover. By the end of the third year, there were over 2,000 locals. Now, there are about 3,000 locals, so the Chinese team can leave.
The railway has strengthened the friendship between China and Ethiopia and facilitated trade between the two countries. Ma Hong, a Chinese businesswoman visiting Africa to explore investments, has already conducted research in several countries, including South Africa and Uganda. Today, she arrived in Addis Ababa, and upon learning that there is a light rail built by a Chinese team, she insisted on experiencing it.
When I arrived in Ethiopia, friends there told me that this light rail was built by Chinese people. I immediately felt an urge to try it out. In a foreign land, thousands of miles away, seeing a light rail built by Chinese people was heartwarming. And then, I felt like I was not alone here. And if I were to invest here, I wouldn't feel isolated. It was like having a big tree to lean on, something reliable and supportive behind me.
For overseas Chinese, Chinese-built urban rail, thousands of miles from home, is not just about transportation, but also an emotional connection. This cold steel carries the warmth of the motherland and home. It fills the souls away from home with deep affection and nostalgia. At the International Training Center of China Railway Air Yuan, more than 30 trainees from 7 countries have gathered here. They are experiencing the rapid development of Chinese urban rail transit. Among them are designers, corporate managers, and government officials. 16 specialized technical lectures have given them insights into railway planning, survey, design, and urban rail operation management. In addition, they take time out of their busy schedules to learn about Chinese traditional culture and visit giant pandas.
Eating the bamboos. Very beautiful.
Today I introduce Tai Chi Kung Fu. You body, two sides. Chinese call this yin and yang.
After 20 days of training, they returned home, not only with Chinese technology, but also with Chinese culture and friendship. Building a community with a shared future for mankind is the common aspiration of people around the world. Harmony in diversity, to achieve universal peace, seek common ground, and reserve differences. This is the responsibility of the Chinese people to the world. Contributing to the urban rail industry of countries around the world, especially developing countries, is the effort to achieve the common aspiration of the world, made by the Chinese people.
With the Belt and Road Initiative, I believe the urban rail industry has great prospects. We now have projects in Africa, Asia, the Americas, and Europe. We are engaged in numerous international collaboration projects. However, this is just the beginning. I am confident that, in the coming years, this field will see significant growth.
In the 40 years since the reform and opening up, Chinese urban rail construction has entered a fast track of accelerated development. From a single subway line to a rail transit network across major cities in China. From relying on imported equipment to exporting technology and equipment, Chinese urban rail has become a well-known brand and a shining representation of China's manufacturing industry. With a global perspective, Chinese urban rail is embracing the world and sharing the benefits of development with countries around the world. Exploration and innovation are ongoing. Chinese wisdom is shaping the future. In smart cities, what surprises will urban rail bring to people's lives? Please stay tuned for the 5-part documentary, Chinese Urban Rail, Episode 5, Innovation.